What is going on, Stonebladers? And finally, we've got some Death and Taxes action. I love this deck. Death and Taxes is what I came from before Stoneblade, which kind of makes sense given the fact that, Stoneforge equipment. And before Death and Taxes was Merfolk, where I already had True-Name, so it was like, plus I had the Force of Wills. Anything else in there aside from Islands? I got new ones eventually, but no. But anyway, the previous two decks were like a combination of what I'm playing now. Either way, I love playing against Death and Taxes. I know all about their deck. I know how it operates. I know their weaknesses. I know the cards they're bringing in, so I have such a huge advantage. With that being said, I still feel that Stoneblade is very, very well advantaged. True-Name equipped with Jitte is a nightmare for them, and pretty much, yeah, that's that. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage. The thing with Death and Taxes is that there are certainly some growing pains when it comes to it. Like when you first play that deck, you're going to lose a lot of games. Okay, I'm going to play Island here. I can either aggressively Brainstorm so that like next turn I can just, draw 3 cards, put 2 back on top, pick up 1, fetch, play Stoneforge, depending on what my opponent's going to do. Wasteland. They're not doing anything, so I actually like waiting it out a little. Not bad, okay. Here I'm going to play I believe it was a Flooded Strand. There's nothing that I'm going to want to Spell Pierce, maybe a Snare. So you have to think about it. I'm planning on Brainstorming, okay? So when I fetch here, what's the land that I think I'm going to end up getting? If I think I'm going to be getting a Plains, in this scenario, I'm probably want to put Flooded Strand here. If I feel like I'm going to end up fetching and getting an island, then I'm probably going to want to use a Polluted Delta. So, for example, if they play a Thalia, yes, I could like snare that, or I could, obviously I won't be able to swords it, but either way, I want to get the blue and white out there. Yeah, so pretty much all the lands that you play makes a very big deal. In the turn, I am going to Brainstorm. Okay. We got a lot of crap here, and pretty simple, given the fact that I have 2 Stoneforges. It's going to be Jitte and Volcanic, should be. Okay, I'm going to put a stop on my upkeep because they have a port, so in case they want to try anything funky. This time I actually did put my stop on my upkeep. Let's fetch for Plains. A little premature there, but that's okay. Islands. Oh my goodness. Wrong choice. Okay, in response I'm going to Brainstorm, simply for the fact that I get to draw 3. Yes, I know I'm going to be seeing one of them, but I get to fetch anyway and play Stoneforge, so I feel like that's a very good use of my mana, given the fact that they are doing that, and I know I have a play. And I drew pretty much a bunch of crap, so it's going to be a bunch of lands going back, although that's pretty good. So I think it's just going to be like maybe Island and Delta, or Delta and Delta. Delta and Delta, yes. Here we go. That was more of an aggressive Brainstorm, but that was based upon the fact that I knew I was going to be fetching away. So, Jitte. And they're going to be in pretty big trouble. I always talk about this. I've played against Death and Taxes so many times, and a lot of times they like going on the mana denial plan. Against a control deck, when a control deck is drawing lands and drawing out their hand, and you haven't played much on your board, you're going to be in very big trouble. I didn't feel like forcing this, because next turn I can just play a Jace if I need to. Huh! And they named Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Interesting. Nothing in response. Here's pretty simple. Let's play Jitte. You gotta name Jitte with this. Jitte. Like I said, Death and Taxes comes with a nice little learning curve, where these little mistakes you can really pay for. Also, their tapping was not good. I haven't pointed it out much, but I just want to commentate on 2 games, not 1. So here, pretty much, I want to Force of Will this simply because it's going to rewrite their mistake. They can flicker this and then do Jitte, so let's get rid of this. Plus it helps clear the board. Obviously I want to get Jitte online, but if I want to play Jace too, that's always an option. Okay, that's not bad. It's pretty much going to be Island after I equip. Mi scusi. Let's attack first. Play good magic. I'm getting ahead of myself though. No blocks. Okay. Cool. Island here. Stoneforge Mystic number 2. Batterskull. Go. I can always find a use for this card, even against Death and Taxes. Stoneforge. Okay, given the fact that they can't use it. This is a good reason why it's important to wait on this. They don't have a vial, which makes my life 100 times easier, so they can't play anything at instant speed. So this can pretty much just sit here for as long as I want until I need to use it. For example, if they play another Revoker, in response I'd use this. But aside from that, we're just going to sit around with it. Play. Okay. Don't care for that. Let's Jace first. I don't need any type of Swords to Plowshares, so this is going to be Plains, Island, 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 tapping for Jace. I want to do this because this can affect combat. Should I get something else I maybe want to play? Brainstorm. Okay, bunch of crap. So these 2 are going back. And yeah, I didn't care for playing Batterskull. This is all about getting Jitte, even more counters on it, so it's just Volcanic Island and Tundra. Polluted Delta. Let's attack. If I need to, I can crack this for a Tundra and plow something, although I'm not planning on doing it. Oh, opponent. Spell Pierce. Yeah, they conceded. That game was going to get very ugly very quickly. That would have been 4 counters on it. I still wouldn't have touched any of these. In fact, would they have Batterskull in their hand? Yeah, I didn't need to kill any of these. They weren't doing anything. Maybe if they went to attack Jace, you know, I might give it 1. If they attacked with this, then I'm killing it. If they attack with this, I can kill it. I'm going to have 4 counters on there anyway, but when you have a Jitte and they don't have a vial, you can be as patient as you want. Only use it once you need to. Either way, just a quick few lessons against Death and Taxes. Let's move to the sideboarding for game number 2. Alright, so against Death and Taxes, Path to Exile is awesome. I love Spell Snare. They have a ton of 2-drops. Rest in peace. No need. Disenchant. I don't like bringing in Containment Priest, despite the fact that it can turn off their vials. It doesn't trade with many good creatures. I mean, yes, Recruiter of the Guard, sure, it wouldn't trade with that. It would kill it. But I mean, aside from that, a Revoker. Certainly not a Thalia. Certainly not, what's the other one? Protection and Double Strike. Mirran Crusader, it's not trading with that. It's just, I don't think it's good enough. I feel like having Disenchant and what else I'm about to show you is better. I like Vendilion Clique. And of course, we got our new card that we finally get to test out. Is going to be Engineered Explosives. This is like having a Disenchant number 2. And normally, I have 2 Back to Basics in. I love using Back to Basics against Death and Taxes. It allows to kind of take out some of their legs. They are very big on the mana denial plan. They like using their mana. If they don't have a vial, their game becomes very difficult. And even if we can always find a way to get rid of it, pitch it to force. Anyway, since they are playing Wastelands, we don't need that. Narset's coming out. Narset's coming out. Spell Pierce coming out. And just like that, very easy fix. I like everything else. I keep 4 Force of Wills in this. I'm a control deck. If I don't want them to play something, they're not going to, even though they have vials. Yes, Jace is great. Teferi is great. I want to use this against Death and Taxes. This is the first time ever. I will keep 1 Back to Basics in, gauge on what they're going to be doing. A lot of times they just get hit with non-basics. They don't have any fetches in their deck. so sometimes they just get stuck with them, although some decks nowadays are playing fetches. It depends on the build that you see, but let's move these over here. So all these cards, our deck is overall really good against them. Our mana base is now extremely lean. This hits a ton of their cards, even if they have a Vial out. Many times they will tick up to 3, and then it's just a turkey shoot when it comes to these. Jitte is probably one of the best cards against them, combined with True-Name. Snapcaster does a ton of work with the amazing cards that we have. Disenchant's great. Stoneforge is awesome. Councils will get rid of anything. Back to Basics is a mini Haymaker. Played against it many times against Death and Taxes. We know about True-Name. This is great. This can actually kill a ton of things. And we talked about the rest. This is an awesome setup when it comes to playing against Death and Taxes. So let's go to game number 2 and roll that beautiful bean footage. All right, so we're going to be on the play against we're going to be on the draw against Death and Taxes, and I kind of like this hand. It's not too bad. It doesn't have white. We don't need white at the moment. However, it does have an engineered explosives for either a mom or either for a vial. That's fine, which is good. And this is actually better than disenchant in the early game. You'll see why, but as we get going, I can either ponder, I can play engineered. If there's something I don't like, I can force it, and of course we have True-Name, which is a house against them. They will need a Council's Judgment to get rid of that, or if they're playing something else funky. Okay, looks like we have a good idea of what we're going to be playing on turn 1. Alright, that's actually a perfect draw. Do you know why? Because it gets pitched to Force. Seriously, like I can always find a use for this damn card. Let's play Engineered Explosives. And I am going to force this because this is going to put a wrench in my plans, and it could put a wrench in their plans should they only kept a 2-lander. They can't do a whole lot with 2 lands, Thalia, a few other things, Stoneforge. And I want to destroy this, which is a part of my plan, so force, very easy, pitching back to basics. And Polluted Delta, Island. We don't need to fetch a Tundra. Let's not play stupid magic and fetch a Tundra into a wasteland. Let's blow this up right now. Okay, so the good thing about this, if say that was a plains and that was an island and I go to disenchant that, they can actually bring in a Mother of Runes and then there's nothing I can do about that. But in this case, when this is on the stack, you know, where I'm exploding it, obviously if they bring in a Mother of Runes, it's going to go in there and die at the same time. So that does have the nice little advantage against Death and Taxes when you use that in that specific scenario. Thalia, and they didn't have any other land, so it was a really good play to actually take that out. I'm like, just give me a land, any land, I don't care what it is. Land it is I got, Arid Mesa, True-Name. Let's have a staring contest for a sec. Sure. Probably SoFi here, Sword of Fire and Ice would be the correct pick. And they made their correct choice. They're not getting through with Batterskull, and they're certainly not getting through with Jitte unless they get... Yeah, not much. This is perfect. What I want to do here is Island. I'm pretty much planning on playing Stoneforge. I have the mana for it, so I'll pay the Thalia tax. So let's tap Island. We need our planes for Stoneforge. Do we like anything here? No, we don't. Not the worst. Jitte. Now, even if they kill Stoneforge, we can actually hardcast it and equip it. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's... Mother of Runes is not going to do it for you. So what I want to do here, eventually I'm going to play Flooded Strand. I think I did that first, but I can simply just play around the Thalia attacks. They have no white mana open, so there's nothing they can threaten me with, which is good. Remember, like, if this was, I mean, they could always, I guess, swords this, not like it would matter, but I don't want to pay the Thalia tax because this is going to be 4 mana. So if I want to, I can suit this up, and I can attack. And if I feel like killing this, I can, and then I can ponder. So let's go around. Ooh, okay, I thought I hit the play where it keeps going. So let's play around the Thalia attacks there. Let's equip with Island. Let's attack. Okay, So I have no reason whatsoever to use this. If they get a Caracas and they want to do some Thalia tricks, they can be my guest. As far as I'm concerned, this is hurting them a lot more than it's hurting me. They have 2 mana. Because I think the worst thing would be if I get rid of this, they draw a Plains and Council's Judgment. So right now they can't do that. So this is actually hurting them a ton more than me. So we don't need to kill it. I don't need to kill this. If they want to bring this in, it's going to take an entire turn. And this is doing nothing. So once again, we're very patient with our Jitte triggers. They don't have a vial, so they can't just start, you know, bringing stuff in. That's fine. Okay. And what I want to do here is attack first, because then I'll have 4 counters, and then if I feel like it, I can kill this, so I don't have to pay the Thalia tax, and then ponder for 1. So let's attack with True-Name. Welcome to Death and Taxes. Meet True-Name Nemesis. This does not work. Growing Pains with Death and Taxes. I'm sorry you had to play against me. I'm making it extra painful for them too by not killing anyone, but I'm going to change that now. I do want to ponder. I know they have this in their hand. Let's see if we can find a Spell Snare. Let's see if we can find a Force of Will. Let's see if we can find anything else that can disrupt this. So let's kill Thalia. So we're using our Jitte very smart, only when we need to. Ponder. Oh my god, that's perfect. So here I don't care for Brainstorm. And I'd rather actually not even have this land. I'd rather just force it. I know like when that's on the stack, I could probably just kill this and this. And then, you know, it's going to come in and then I can swords it. But I just like not even giving them that option. Next turn, if they don't draw land, they're going to have to do plains. And then, yeah, they're just going to have this if they don't draw land. They're not going to be able to do anything threatening. So even if they played a Revoker, I will have a Swords for that. So I am doing Brainstorm, Swords, Force of Will. And for all of you out there who are saying, well, they have a wasteland. What if they waste your Flooded Strand? I do nothing. I don't crack it. I don't need it. Okay? That's not always a good plan, all right? This is a good plan when you're playing against someone who is really advanced and understands the fact that they might be putting something important on top of their deck. Just think of it this way. If this person, first of all, it's an advanced play when you go to do that because you have to be right. Otherwise, you're kamikazing your land and I can just fetch. But think about it. They have 2 mana. They're going to need this, okay, for these 2, and then they're pretty much doing nothing else if they wastelanded. In this position, if they want to wasteland me, they are more than happy. I am more than happy to have them do that. So there's always that argument, well, you know, James, you're putting some of your good cards on top of your deck. Okay, if they want to wasteland me, it's just going to help me win even more. Let's force this, pitching Snapcaster. That was it. They conceded. Just like that. My goodness. So next turn, we had a Swords to Plowshares. So pretty much we were going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have Swords, then I could have Snap Swords. Plus I was going to have 5 counters on there. Still, what I would have done, I wouldn't have even killed any of these. Maybe in their upkeep, what I would have done before their draw is kill their Stoneforge and make them activate the sword. And that's going to be in their upkeep. So if they want to do that, they have to utilize 2 mana, and it's pretty much going to allow them to do nothing. I was going to start having so many counters on there where I would have 5. Let's see. Yeah, so I would go to my turn, I would have 5. And then what would happen is I would wait for their upkeep, utilize this on this, and if they want to bring it in, that's fine. Then I will still have 3 counters on it, and they're only going to have 1 2 mana max. And aside from that, that's probably the only thing I need to pick off, because then I will have Swords, Snap Swords. So while that looked kind of, that line looked kind of weird, like James, they could totally just, what's the word, wasteland that. That's fine. I had it covered. I pretty much had anything and everything covered. Even if they played a Revoker, what I can do is, in response, kill this. And then, of course, if they want to give, they can't give it pro-white. So when it comes in, I can just Swords it. So I had everything covered there. They probably could have done a few things a little bit better. But either way, like I said, Growing Pains, when it comes to Death and Taxes, it's not the easiest deck in the world to work. But when you get it working well, it gets working pretty right. But when you're staring down to True-Name Nemesis 2 games in a row with a Jitte, it's going to be very tough. Actually, it was Stoneforge with a Jitte before, but Stoneforge did a lot of work carrying the the response of fetching the equipment. She delivered in the first game, True-Name delivered in the second game. Usually how it works, but mostly with True-Name taking all the credit. Either way, another one for the good guys against Death and Taxes. I haven't played against them a while, so it's nice to see a lot of those great white creatures. They're all so familiar. Used to play that deck a ton, but now we're on to bigger and better things with Stoneblade. Thank you again for watching, and have the best day ever.